The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
And everyone, welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. It is TGIF. And this morning I got Brittany with me. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning.
And then my brother, Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope everybody's well. Hey, thank God it's Friday.
Whoop, whoop.
Party tomorrow or tonight, whenever.
We can get started tonight anyway.
Party at Pedro's. Woo!
At the park, okay.
At the park. Pedro's Park.
Yeah. We're going to San Pedro? Where? At the beach? Where?
So anyway, y'all, we got one interest group for you today. It's a movie night tonight. Of course, I host that one. And tonight we'll be playing the second installment of the Bad Boys series, Bad Boy 2. So if you like that series, come on out, check us out. And we'll be doing that about 6 o'clock tonight, Pacific Standard Time. So come on in or grab your snacks, beverages, whatever it is you need to enjoy a movie, and get ready. And we'll be doing that at 6 p.m. tonight. So anyway, well, I got my Be My Eyes on my Meta Ray-Bans this morning, so I haven't had a chance to test them out yet, but as they say, it's slowly rolling out to everybody. So I got mine.
Yeah, that is one thing that I was seeing online on social media. People were like, I don't have it. And unfortunately, I still don't have it. And, I wanted to test that out and bring that to y'all on our page, our Facebook page, for those that are listening. I drop reels sometimes. I drop text-based posts, so check those out. Some relate to Ray-Ban, some relate to other technologies, little things that I find interesting that I think you guys will love to have that little nugget of knowledge, So follow us on our page on Facebook. But yeah, I want to test that out and see how seamlessly it can integrate, while we're doing things and having those glasses that wearable on our head. Making it easy, how accessible and ease of access can it be. I'm interested in the lag of the internet, because sometimes our phone signals, our carriers, all depends where you're at and stuff like that.
Right. Well, I'm gonna test mine out a little bit today and see how I like it, see how well it works for me. I mean, pretty sure here at the house it'll work fine because I'm right here within my Wi-Fi area, my house and whatnot. But like you said, once you get away from the house where you're dealing with that cellular data, so that connection could probably get a little buffer to it or something.
I have a tip for you guys, that those that have Spectrum, you download my Spectrum app or you go to their website, you'll be able to install a profile on your phone that will give you extra private Wi-Fi private networks that Spectrum has out there. And for their people that have an internet package, you're able to install this profile, and you get access to these Wi-Fi's out in public spaces that are secured. I'm not talking about the ones that don't have a secured lock logo, but I'm talking about the ones that are secured, that you're able to do your stuff and be aware that you're secured on this type of data. But On the plus of that, you will have some Wi-Fi in public that you'll be able to use with Be My Eyes in your glasses. Now, another thing to note, if you have Spectrum Mobile, they will add more passwords and hotspots within that profile. So, something to
I
note.
don't. I got Spectrum Internet, but I don't have Spectrum Mobile.
My
Uh,
Spectrum.
well, you said Spectrum Mobile, so so they do sell self. They do offer cell service now. So
Hmm.
I assume that's what you were speaking of.
No,
Uh,
both. It just the internet gives you certain ones, and the mobile gives you more
well,
because
I'm
you're on
gonna.
their mobile device.
Well, I guess I'm not gonna get no extra because I don't have a mobile, but I do have the internet service, so I
Hmm.
need to try to do that and get that plugged in because I'm probably gonna need it. With these Meta Ray bands and stuff like that. Like you say, being able
Hmm.
to connect to the internet while I'm out there and not use my cellular data and stuff like that. So,
Thomas commented. He said that he used Be My Eyes with his Meta Ray Bans, and he said that the volunteer said the picture quality and everything was great. So he said it was a great experience.
well,
Mm.
okay, cool.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Look, more tools, more. That's dope for Meta to open it up for Be My Eyes. Now we got to push Meta more to open it up for more applications. I know
Right,
that they might not open it up to certain parts of certain applications that might have a AI integrated because they want you to use their AI. I would love them to improve their AI. They actually allowed more ways to ask it to look what's in front of you instead of saying, "Hey, Meta, look what's in front of me." Now you could say, "Hey, Meta, see what's there," or "Meta, what is this?" They adding a little more support to be more of your natural language, I guess. You won't only have to say that command because that makes it a what? Not an AI. It makes it just a smart device because it has predetermined queries and predetermined phrases
right.
per se. So that makes it a what? A lady instead of an
Hey,
AI.
so in
But
other words, you're saying I could basically say, describe the scene in front of me or something like that.
So
Give
now,
me a description of my surroundings,
yeah,
something.
yes, yeah. So now it's becoming more, like that. Also, the rumor is that that the A lady's coming with an update.
Well, I mean, of course, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, doesn't they have their own smart glasses now as well, right? What is that? The Echo, they're calling it the A Vision or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but I know it's
No,
all Amazon stuff.
they do have Amazon glasses, but it doesn't have no camera. I don't think it has all that. It just has like the elect the A lady integrated in them, so you can ask her questions and stuff.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we need cameras, so Amazon, you need to go back to the drawing board. Uh,
Maybe so. Whoever gets the best AI, that's where I might jump to.
right. So, on that note, then maybe OpenAI need to come out with their own glasses. How about that one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now that'd be great, right?
It
So,
gives us great description when it comes to Be My Eyes. I prefer it over what's that other one? Seeing AI. Britt, what do you prefer? Seeing AI or Be My Eyes AI?
I like the Be My Eyes AI. It's more descriptive.
yeah, I mean, I haven't even tried the one in CNAI yet. I mean, I'm being honest. Once Be My Eyes came out with theirs, I left Envision and CNAI alone.
I know he
I
got
haven't really used
married.
them for
He
that.
got married to Be My Eyes, guys. I left the other ones alone. I'm
Uh,
married now.
well, I mean, it's just where I get my better results, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, and being honest, again, I'm hanging out with these Ginsus, but yesterday was actually the very first time that Pedro sent us an image for the mousetrap, and I saved the photo, went in there and did the share, and Man, I didn't think I was ever gonna find it, but it was way down there on the other end. But describe with be my eyes, be my AI or whatever. And
Yeah, yeah.
man, it was great. It was great.
So what Ed is talking about, guys, when you got an image on the share button, that share sheet brings the social media stuff first. But if you navigate with three fingers all the way to the bottom, you do get certain like describe with me my eyes, search with Amazon. So you could do searches with your photo now, Google, Amazon, and other ones like that. But you will catch Be My Eyes, like describe with Be My Eyes, look with Envision, uh you seen AI, not yeah, seeing AI is there also. And to tell you the truth, what I like about PixieBot is almost on the first row when you do the share.
Yeah, well, I'm again down towards the bottom where all that stuff is. Me, I get a lot of context up on top of mine first.
Oh yeah, yeah, those are suggested. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
suggested. So you always
suggested
gotta
context.
yeah. So I don't scroll. I know the swipe is a good thing to do, but sometimes I skip that and use my finger as navigation so I could jump down, jump down. But for those intermediate users, you can also put navigation on your rotor, turn to navigation, and you'll be able to navigate horizontal instead of just right to left. You can navigate horizontal. So you can jump up to your status bar and then jump back down to your phone and continue navigating, swiping left and right. And then if you need to go down another portion, it jumps down to the bottom of the phone. So there's
Well,
there's other ways to navigate and make it easier for you guys. I'm just saying for the intermediate users and
right.
stuff like that. But
Well,
hey, that Be My Eyes feature is gonna be pretty dope.
yeah, I mean, I can't really wait to try it. I mean, again, I appreciate Thomas's input, but I'm hard headed. I got to stick my hand in the fire and see what it feels like. So
Yeah,
uh,
and and keeping to to keep them low price is another thing, to at least affordable for our community. I know, they might not be made specifically for our community, but to have some glasses in the market that is able to integrate this AI, I guess a lot of these companies didn't thought the integration of AI will have an effect for our community, but keeping them at a reasonable rate, okay, reasonable price. I know that some go for 2,000, some go for 4,000, guys, and sometimes that's not attainable because of our how many people we have in a fixed income, and that's where we leading into our first article about blindness and jobs and things like that and statistics. So you want to jump into that, Ed?
go for it.
Latest job market developments for the blind and visually impaired community. Let's look into recent strides in employment for the blind and visually impaired BVI community, showcasing how technology, policies, and local resources are creating new opportunities. 1. Employment trends and gaps. Encouragingly, employment rates for individuals with vision impairments are on the rise. However, a significant gap remains, as only 44% of BVI individuals are employed, compared to 79% of people without disabilities. This ongoing disparity underscores the importance of continued advocacy and tailored employment support. 2. Technological advancements opening doors. New assistive technologies are helping make workplaces more accessible. For example, innovative devices from companies like and New Haptics allow users to access Braille and tactile graphics in real time on digital screens, which is revolutionizing access to information and communication for blind individuals. 3. Inclusive programs leading the way. Monash University's Sensory Science program in Australia is a great example of an inclusive employment initiative. By providing internships and lab positions for people with disabilities, the program is bridging the gap to employment and has received international recognition, setting a benchmark for other institutions. 4. Services like the California Department of Rehabilitation's Blind Field Services provide critical support to the BVI community. From job placement to vocational training, these services empower individuals to succeed in the workforce and build independence. With these ongoing efforts, the path to more inclusive employment for the BVI community is looking brighter. What's your take on these initiatives? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, back to the coffee time crew.
Well, again, I agree with the article. I mean, it's getting better. I mean, even though they're saying 44%, blind, visually impaired are employed. I mean, technically, the number to me hasn't really changed because that could also mean, as we've been saying for years, that we're 70% or underemployed. You get what I'm saying? Because even though some of us may be working, I mean, our knowledge or whatever, in other words, we're just doing some ho hum job rather than doing, a job where we can earn a quality living, you know.
Yeah, 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 and that might include people that get underpaid, get a minimal of hours, and maybe only have them for a few hours a week, or maybe a less than 20, you know what I mean? And
Right.
sometimes that under employed and things like that, trying to stay within the lines of keeping your benefits and working, and then at that you might not even get enough hours, and it's a headache because then you have to provide paperwork and go back and forth with these offices to make sure everything is good. And with these process that you do and have, sometimes you might not know what your income may be because of the changes or whatever they want to adjust and things like that. And if you don't know what your hours is and you don't have a full-time job and able to provide for yourself, for these people that are you know might be getting,
Underemployed. Yeah.
yeah, underemployed. Thank you, Ed. Underemployed. Now that is more stress. Now, you know, more money spent on rides, going back and forth, going to these offices, adjusting all this, waiting for letters, not knowing is the other issue that people don't understand. Because with these process, you have to wait for the letters. They'll be like, okay, thank you for the paperwork. We will send you something. We keep you out there, and you know,
Well, I mean, another thing, people don't realize, for people that would fall into that underemployed category, staying with what you're saying, So you're getting, just throwing a number out there, right? Let's just say you're getting 2 grand on disability, right? And then you go find a job to where, you're only making 1,800 a month, right? Well, 1,800 a month is enough for you to eventually lose your disability, but yet now I'm losing $200 a month, and you're taking taxes out. So again, now I'm falling short. I might, be down around 1,500, 1,600 a month by the time you guys get through taxes, where I was getting 2 grand while I was on Social Security. So a lot of people are saying, you know what? No, I'm just going to work part time, which puts us into that underemployed category, right? Because now we're staying under that threshold so that we don't lose our disability. So they need to work on that system as well,
yeah,
and make sure that we're have become permanent, and we're stable on our jobs, and all of this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Before you start trying to take away our income, if you get my point. You know what
yes,
I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
Make sure that there's enough there that, okay, we should make more than what we're making on Social Security. I mean, there should not be a job out there where we're making more money on Social Security than we if we go get a job.
Yeah, yeah, and that shows you the state of the system on that part of the system, because you're like, well, let me just stay on my social security because I don't get enough hours in my job, and it is a shame that is happening, and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? These people that are underemployed should be employed fully if they're able to do their job. I know we do have some people in the sighted community that be like, oh no, but they're blind. How are they gonna work for me? in the management department. You know, sometimes they like, I don't want to hire this blind dude. He's blind. You know, even if you might be well educated and have your degrees, they still have that. Oh, but he's blind. How is he gonna do his work? That's the first thing they usually think about.
And then liability. Oh, well, what if they're walking down the hall and they trip over a mop bucket or something? All this other kind of stuff. Again, a lot of that stuff doesn't happen. Well, I'm not going to say it never happens, but rarely would something like that happen. I mean, bottom line, those of us that are willing to get up and go out and perform a job, trust and believe. We know how to get around. We know how to find that mop bucket. We know how to use our canes or other devices, whatever the case may be, to get around that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, it's just the lack, as we always say, the lack of awareness about, people in our community. And,
Yes. Yes.
not at
You're.
one of our main goals, trying to, do away with that that assumption, that, oh, well, they can't do nothing. They're blind. No, we can do a lot if you just get out the way and let us do it.
Just like how anyone that's using a phone for the first time or a computer, you don't know your way around. We could be
Exactly.
like, once you get a sense of the system, or like you start getting familiar, and that works with the area. Once we start getting familiar, we start knowing it. So do
Well,
not
as a
discount
perfect,
us.
I think a perfect example of that would be is just say, for instance, somebody's been doing, they've had an Android phone for ever, and now they want to upgrade and do an iPhone. It's going to be, you don't know what you're doing when you first open that phone, because it's a whole different operating system. You're lost. You got to work your way around. You got to figure out how everything's laid out, how it operates, and then you're good. It's the same thing for us. Once we get it figured out, we're good.
Yeah, and that works vice versa, guys. You know, if you jumping into iPhone to Android, you know what I mean? It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve for everything you do, for everything you switch to. Like for example, if you switch from Word to Pages, or Word to Google Docs, you know what I mean? It's just learning curve, it's just a little learning curve.
Right, right, right. So,
Hmm.
but again, most of us that are willing to take the initiative to go out there and look for a job and apply for jobs, and actually apply for a job where we have to show up at the job every day on site. You know what I'm saying? We know what we're doing. We know, it might take us a minute to get the layout of the building, get the layout of where my cubicle is or whatever the case may be, but once we get it figured out, we're good. We're good.
Yes, and there's technologies that could help depending on the company. For those that are blind and thinking of getting a job, there's different technologies. IRA, depending on the company you have, or the company is willing to accommodate you and assist you with this. There's technologies that can be utilized to actually do more efficient work. So even for the sighted people that listen, don't discount somebody that might be disabled, because it could be the smartest person. And remember, the smartest person that was the smartest scientist, the one that passed away, that was in a chair, and he couldn't move him. That he couldn't. What's his name?
Oh, Stephen Hawking?
Stephen Hawking, a brilliant mind, but he was disabled. His body was disabled, but he had a brilliant mind. So you cannot discount somebody that may be disabled.
That's true. It's absolutely true. So, put away your preconceived notions about folks. You know what I'm saying? Try to get to know a person. Don't judge them just because they have a disability. Don't judge them because they're in a wheelchair. They're walking in there with a mobility cane or even a stability cane, whatever the case may be. I mean, there may be some limitations to what they can and cannot do, but again, they'll let you know what those limitations are. You know, I mean, like myself, I do a lot of stuff on my own. My family already knows. No, he's going to try it by himself. He's only going to ask help when he realizes that this is something he can't do. But I'm always going to try first. You know, so again, we know what our limitations are, and we'll let you know. You know, and with technology, again. those things are fastly falling to the wayside. Those limitations with the introduction of AI into our lives, my goodness. I mean, it opened up so many different doors. It really did. It opened up so many different doors. So again, please don't preconceive what you think we can do. Let us show you what we can do. So well, that's what I mean, Britt, you didn't say anything about any of that, the
Oh
employment
yeah.
stuff.
Tisha said good morning, good morning, good morning, Blind United. So good morning,
Good
Tisha.
morning,
And
Tisha.
Thomas said good morning from Colorado, and he loves the new introduction, and he said that it sounds great through his meta glasses. So okay.
Well, that's our sound engineer, our multi-talented Mr. Pedro Aguilar. Got them sounds jumping from one ear to the other ear. So if anybody's looking for some intros or something like that for anything they're doing, reach out to Daredevil. He can take care of you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. I didn't heard the comment. I was doing something backstage, but thank you. Thank you for
Thomas
that,
said he
Tisha.
loves your new intro, Pedro.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. A work in progress. All the voices are AI generated. Just playing. Those are all of us. You know what I mean?
AI generated.
But yeah, so hey, we needed something. We needed something personalized to us, to our coffee time. So yeah, show brought you by blind people, produced by a blind person. You know what I mean? But that aside, thank you, Thomas. Shout out to you. Always listening into our comments. Tisha, hi. I'm pretty sure Monica's listening too. Hey, Monica.
Hey, Monica. All right. Well,
We,
yeah. So, I mean, again, the employment thing, again, it's going to get better. I mean, until we got an equal playing field, it's not going to get as good as it can get, until we get rid of some of these, false impressions of what we can and can't do,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
But when you say get rid of those stuff, right? Is it when the robots come and take over and then everybody's in unemployed or what?
Well, no, I'm talking about,
I'm messing around. I'm messing
right,
around.
right, right. But yeah, and I'm talking about people's impressions. Their false impressions of what we can and cannot do.
Yes,
So
yes, and there's a lot of that. We get. I know y'all probably experienced this in you know experienced this being a blind person when someone comes up to you and starts talking louder, like if you're deaf, but they're talking louder and slower,
right.
like something's up, and sometimes I gotta check those people. Like, excuse me, I'm not deaf. I'm able to hear you. So can you lower your voice?
Uh,
Because
Well, I
they're
just tell them I'm blind, not deaf. You can speak normally.
you can speak normally, and then they get all surprised though too when you tell them like that. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, okay," and they talk all normal, like
Right, 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 right.
And I had somebody when I was one day at the bus. I was sitting down. I had my cane on my lap. This lady sat next to me and told me, "Oh, how do you say hi, thank you, and this in sign language?" And I picked up my cane and showed her my cane. I told her, "Oh, I'm blind. I'm not deaf." And then think about this. She's coming to tell me, how do you say this? If I was deaf, how am I hearing you?
They don't think about what they say most of the
I
time.
don't think people think, honestly. I'm just
Some
gonna
don't.
assume
Some
that.
You know,
Yeah, Brett, I think you're correct. Some people just don't think. But I was like, what? And then, I think the lady felt embarrassed. She went back to her seat. When the bus came to a stop, she got up and left because it was a full bus.
right,
It was a lot of people there. So,
right.
you
Well,
know,
again, that's part of our mission at Blind United, trying to create the awareness so that people, you
yes,
know, I mean, we're out and about, we'll be out tomorrow. What we're going to be about 40, 50 deep up in that restaurant.
it's going
Uh,
down. That's how
it's
we
go,
do it.
That's how we do it. When we get together with our folks, in our community, man, when we show up, 9 times out of 10, we show up strong. And I mean, imagine 40, 50 blind folks in a restaurant, right? We all just chilling, just like everybody else. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Going out to hang out with each other and have some, good food and maybe a couple cocktails or something, Man,
Mm-hmm.
why not celebrating one of our, community members' birthday?
Yeah, and
Let's
shout out to her. Happy birthday to her. You know.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Well, I'll say her name, Trina. Happy birthday, Trina. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. She's a great ally for us. Again, with Blind United, there's no membership, right? So, again, you ain't got to pay to be a part of us. All you got to do is show up,
Correct.
hang out. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, we'll be having a big fun tomorrow. I'm going to get me a nice, big, fat carne asada burrito.
That sounds deadly. Whoa.
Okay. Give me a nice little old cocktail on the side, and I'm going to be good for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the evening. You know what I'm saying? So,
And Tisha commented that the after party is at her house. No, just kidding. But she did say, but she did say that next time we have an event like the spooky evening, we need to have the party go till Wednesday. And I don't know if I can party like that, Tisha. I'm getting a little old, but hey.
well, in order to do that, we're going to have to move the after party to your house, Tisha. So,
Oh wow, yeah, yeah. But
let's wait
yeah.
till summertime because we might have to camp out in the background, in the backyard. There'd be so many of us,
Yeah, but
you
at
know.
that point, guys, thank you for the comment. Hey, that was a great laugh, and we're gonna go to a quick commercial break.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Blind United invites you to a sneaker ball on Saturday, December 28th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Join us for an evening of style and fun at our semi-formal event, paired with your favorite sneakers. Enjoy dinner, beverages, and dessert, all for just $40 per person. Be sure to RSVP by December 18th to Cheryl at 909-827-4383 or email us at info@blindunited.org. Don't miss this chance to celebrate and connect with friends. We'll see you there.
Yep, guys. So, Ed, do we move on to another article? You want to move to another subject?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got 3 different articles in there for you today. I figured I'd bring stuff that's more, again, I'm trying to keep some blind content in there with the employment and stuff like that. But I got a couple other articles I think is relevant to us just as average American folks. So,
And I think we all could relate to the next one. I'm thinking of playing the Social Security and the upcoming changes and things like that.
right.
So let's play that one. Let's take that. Let's take a look.
Key updates in Social Security. What you need to know. Today, we're delving into recent changes in Social Security, which could impact millions of Americans. Here's what's happening. 1. Social Security Fairness Act moves forward. In a big win for some public sector employees, the House has passed the Social Security Fairness Act. This legislation aims to repeal the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, GPO, which have reduced benefits for public workers like teachers and police officers. While it now moves to the Senate with significant support, there's controversy over its potential cost, an estimated $196 billion over the next decade. 2. 2025 Cost of Living Adjustment, COLA. Next year, Social Security recipients will see a 2.5% increase in their benefits. This adjustment, in response to inflation, will provide an average boost of around $50 per month for retirees. This increase is intended to keep up with inflation trends and will also apply to Supplemental Security Income, SSI, benefits, reaching over 72 million people. 3. Secure your benefits online. Social Security beneficiaries should act now to set up a free My Social Security account by November 20th. This online portal is a one-stop resource for managing benefits, viewing COLA notices, and accessing important documents like 1099 tax forms. Physical notices of the COLA increase will be sent in December. 4. Proposed tax cuts for Social Security benefits. Former President Donald Trump has proposed a plan to cut taxes on Social Security benefits. While this could offer immediate financial relief for some, experts warn it may strain the Social Security fund, risking reduced benefits for future retirees. These developments reflect ongoing legislative efforts to balance Social Security's long-term viability with current needs. What are your thoughts on these changes? Let us know in the comments. Now, back to the coffee time crew.
Well, I mean, at least we're getting a raise coming next year. That's a good thing. A lot of our folks should use it. I mean, $50 is $50, right? Not that it's a whole great amount, but again, $50 is going to help, So, I mean, again, some of this stuff, I think they're passing it also because, as each one of them said, if you look at the one they talking about with the federal and state employees or whatever that was, okay, that eventually is going to put those billions of dollars into the deficit, right? A lot of this stuff is going to cut down on the amount of money that goes into the Social Security Trust. I mean, even this thing Donald Trump wants to do. I mean, it's in the
essence, it sounds good about the not taxing
right,
the
not
income.
taxing us, but again, what's it going to do on the other end? It's going to help deplete the the Social Security fund.
Yeah.
To where it could run out of money even sooner. I mean, I think they need to be working on more things where they're adding to the Social Security fund, and then that way it becomes solvent for many more years to come.
Because it is a safety net for elderly people that retire, that maybe their pension went down the drain because of some hedge fund that mismanaged it and things like that, or their 401. It's not a 401k, it's a 200k or something. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, the Social Security is per se the average American's 401. Not everybody gets a job where they offer 401s. Not everybody makes enough money where they can buy into a 401, right?
Correct.
So what do they ended up with? They end up with Social Security.
And this program is very, very popular within society. It's an 80% percentile that agree with Social Security, and you could consider it a socialist type of program, but it's a social net that will catch us. And there's a riled up on how much money they might lose out on taxing and things like that, right? But what about the tax cut that they gave in the last administration? Right? When they gave those tax cuts, they didn't complain about what about the money we're going to lose. And I got them. So welcome, George. But they didn't care about the money they're gonna lose. But right now they're making a big deal on the money they're gonna maybe lose with Social Security and the things that happen. And the increase, I'm all for the increase, of course, but $50 increase, that means your rent is going to increase also.
Well, we'll be touching on that one in a few minutes as well. But I mean, again, $50 a year increase. I mean, come on. I mean, the average person gets 2-3% raise at least per year on the job, and I promise you, it equals more than $50. That's for sure.
Yeah. Welcome, George. Any words? George is
Well,
over there busy.
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah, of course, this iOS thing, but I'm sorry, guys, I'm late. Well, my wife got off work late, but I just want to chime in real quick about the unemployment or the underemployment. And I come from a perspective when I used to work at the workforce and the Department of Labor. I think there's the two biggest things that lead to underemployment or unemployment really is the lack of. I think you both touched on it. Awareness, right? The employer not knowing that they could get some help from a state agency in regards to a job coach, even orientation around the new facility. But also coming from a blind perspective, unlike if you're visually impaired, where you can use Zoom text or whatnot, applying, having JAWS integrated into their system. For example, when I was at the Attorney General, that's the main thing. I couldn't get into the main uh, work frame because that thing was last updated in 2000. I mean, I'm not joking. So my jaws, my jaws is like, what is this? You know. So that's the biggest problem. For example, call centers. You know, even when they say, "Oh yeah, we're accessible," but yes, if you're low vision, not blind. And another thing, guys, we have to understand that there's a lot of companies out there, and I'm not going to name who they are, but they'll come and say, "Oh, we have jobs for people that are blind or visually impaired at the call center," but they don't understand it's not a cookie cutter kind of issue. Like what's going to work for me is not going to work for you, Mr. Davis, or Britt, or you, Pedro. And the thing is, and what I'm more of my thing that I like to, well, I don't say about advocate, but a concern is that let's say someone's on housing, they're receiving supplemental income for their housing or food stamps. And guess what? Now they have that have this job for 15 bucks an hour. They let go of the food stamps and housing, but then
Mm-hmm.
they don't go through they get fired because they don't have the skills. And guess what? And I've seen this several times where they're like, "Uh-oh, I'm out of job now, and I don't have my food stamps and housing." And then as we all know, housing there's a long list. So I think
Mm.
that's the problem. Right now, I think the limit you can make is 24, almost 2,500 a month, which is decent. Plus, you still keep your unemployment. I mean, your Social Security SSDI. Of course, if you make the proper deductions, like travel, even clothes that you buy for work, your medicines, all that could be deducted to put you under that
Travel,
20,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
put
Mm-hmm.
you under that 2,500. But I think the most important thing is the lack of. Yeah, I'll tell you one example, guys. When I was at the Borderplex, there was a grant where we would bring in employers to educate them on individuals with disabilities. And they gave me a list of 750 employers here in El Paso. As I was making my calls, I got a lot of different responses. I got one response like, "Oh no, we can't hire them." I'm like, okay, but
Ooh.
I couldn't really say much because I was working under the Borderplex. But if I was by myself, I'd be like, "Oh hell no!" And then another one at a restaurant.
Oh hell no.
And when I had called a restaurant, and they actually
Mm-hmm.
told me, "Oh no, we can't hire those people because OSHA." I'm like, "OSHA." In my head,
Oh.
I'm like, "What does that to do with?" And mind you, I was at the Department of Labor. We had OSHA in our building. I'm like, "What does OSHA have to do with?" So it's just a lack of. They see us more of a liability than an asset. And
Yeah.
once that changes, then that's going to be, we'll be in a better position. But that's going to be a lot of advocacy on our part, and that's, as
Yes.
we all know, that's hard.
That is hard. That is hard because advocating for yourself sometimes some people do it, some don't, and
But
sometimes
Pedro, before I forget, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Mhm.
And the misconception is all those contracts that we're considered like the mother hen or the golden goose for the contracts. For example, oh, you have a person that's blind, okay, you could keep the contract. But those are they're not competitive employment. In other words,
Right.
it's not where you get a 501, you should get a retirement. These are just based on contracts. And when we start getting employment that's competitive, in other words, we could retire at 20 years but yet a lot of these jobs are contracts. Okay, once this contract is over with, let's say, a certain company with a call center, okay, you're done. You're unemployed. and
Yeah.
that's not right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not right. They're treating us like a seasonal worker.
Yeah.
When it benefits them. Here, come on, here, we help you. And now the contract's over here. Here you go. Here's your box. Gather your stuff.
And there's like a company, and I can't really say much. I can't really criticize because I have my contract with the state, so I'm not gonna really say names, but I'll give you scenarios. There's a lot of companies that will hire people that are visually impaired or have a handicap or a disability, right? But yet, and I'm telling you, folks, I know of a gentleman that worked at one of these companies for 11 years, well, maybe 12 years now. And guess how much he's getting paid?
Minimum wage,
Yes,
federal
sir.
minimum wage.
Yes, sir. And I told him, why do you stay there after 11 years? Well, I'm used to it, and of course, they took away my food stamps, so with my Social Security and this, I make enough money. But that's the thing. Yeah, they'll employ you, they'll give you full time employment, but at 750 or whatever it is now, 725.
Mm, mm-mm.
Yeah, I believe federal minimum wage is 7.25.
Is it?
Eh,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. And it's, think about that. It doesn't matter if you make 7, right? Or 16. The prices online are gonna stay the same no matter what region you're in. So how can we have a large gap? $16, $20 in one area and then $7 at another.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
And it didn't make sense too, Pedro, because unfortunately, this, like you said, you were perfect when you said seasonal employment, right? They'll come to us. Oh, we have this new contract with whoever, and we need people that are blind or visually impaired, but yet the contract's only for a year. So are you willing to, like Mr. Davis was saying, are you willing to give up your benefits in regard like maybe health insurance through
Hmm.
SSI, not SSDI, but SSI? Are you willing to give up your Medicaid?
Your
You know,
livelihood.
and now granted, there are employments that you could make. When I was an attorney general, it was a contract, right? But I was making decent money, and I was willing to give up my Social Security because I was making decent money. That's fine.
Right,
But
for
someone that,
competitive income. I mean, for competitive employment.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're willing to work, like when I was at the Department of Labor, I had no problem giving up my employment, my Social Security. That's fine. But knowing because it was a permanent job, right? I had to leave because I had I lost my, well, that's another story. But when you have jobs like that, and that's very few guys, right? I mean, it's hardly, we hardly know anybody that has a good job and is full time and has benefits, right? You know someone that works for a contract. Oh, I'm getting 15 bucks an hour, full
Hmm.
time, but no benefits.
Well, and
I
that's
know.
why we were saying, in the article we did, I don't know if you heard the whole article, George, while you were off air, but bottom line, they are saying that we're 44% employed now. Well, I mean, okay, we could be 44% employed, but how many of those people are underemployed?
And I kind of disagree with, well, not, well, I guess it was by region. Okay, because like here in El Paso, I'm talking specifically here. It might be because we're a border town too, but here in El Paso, I guarantee it's at least if not higher than 75% unemployed. Okay, not underemployed, unemployed. And
Right.
that's the reason why the border picks decided to take on that grant. And the thing is, guys, it's just the misperception. I think you said it, Mr. Davis. The misperception, and you walk in with a cane, that's a liability. Or you walk in
Hmm.
with a
Hmm.
dog, what am not knowing that, like you, Pedro.
Hmm.
I mean, I have to give you credit, brother. Blind or not, that's not the point. But doing your editing and what you did with the intro, that's skills. That's a skill. It doesn't matter if you're blind or not blind, but yet, if they see you, Pedro, come in with your cane, they're like, he's not
And
gonna
just
be,
so those that are, blind, that are listening in, that intro also has visual aspects to it. I mean, it shows the coffee cup, it being, with the coffee being poured in it. It shows the steam rising up off of the coffee going into, the coffee time logo, right? All that kind of stuff. So, I mean, again, this is a blind person that put all this stuff together, right? Stuff they see
Wait,
you
how did
can't
you
do.
create that graphic, Pedro? I'm very curious.
Actually, I ran it through an AI multiple times. I first I planned on the picture, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to convey, and then I got down the colors, and then I went to image generator. But before I even generate the image, I was talking back and forth, refining my ideas, getting the prompts together correctly, and you know what I mean, put it
But
together.
Pedro,
And
let me say this:
mm,
if I was to show someone that they know I'm part of Coffee Time, and they say I show the intro to someone, and they're gonna say, "Hey, it's not bad," and I go, "And this guy's blind. He is? Wow!" Like like they're surprised.
Right.
Like
They're just
really?
totally amazed that, as a blind person, you were able to put that together.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you a real quick story. So when I came back after my car accident and I had to leave the Department of Labor, I came back to El Paso. So of course I wanted a good job, not just a minimum wage job. Well, anywho, a call center called me, and I just happened to have it on speakerphone. And I answered it like, "Oh, Mr. Zavala." I go, "Yes, ma'am." It's, "Oh, we're from this company, and we would love for you to come in and da da da, your resume and this and that." Right in my head, I'm like, "Uh oh, should I tell him I'm blind?" So I go, "Ma'am, can you please hold?" I put her on hold, and I turned to my wife. I go, "Should I tell him?" She was like, "Tell him what? That I'm blind." So why would that matter? I go, "Look, look, listen to what you just said." So I took off her hold. I go, "Okay, ma'am." She goes, "Yes, can you come in today at 4 o'clock?" I go, "Yes, ma'am, but I need to ask you for a favor." She goes, "Of course." Will someone be able to assist me because I am blind to fill out the paperwork, for the application? Guys, she stayed quiet, and she's like, "Oh, you know what, Mr. Zavala? Let me see what I could do. Let me call you right back." And I told my wife, "Not, they're not calling." And then they didn't call me back, right? But the thing is, that's the main thing that we have to do as a group, not just in California or Texas as a group. And you know where I'm going with this as advocacy, to advocate that just because we're blind, we could do editing like you can, Pedro, or we could do this, or we could do that. It's just we might need a little time, or we might need some kind of accommodation regarding technology. But we're good, like you said, Mr. Davis. You
Uh,
know,
I mean, another good example is, I guess because of my title here with Blind United or whatever, I don't know if they know all that or what. Probably do because our information is out there floating around in cyberspace. But I get a lot of texts, telling me about, jobs and, home employment and all that kind of stuff. And I respond back. It's okay. Well, I know a lot of folks in the community, in the blind community. Are you hiring blind people? They never text me back.
hey
They
guys,
never text me back.
tip for those that get spam calls and spam messages. But to tie that all with our first article about employment and things like that, we have one more article for you guys concerning housing, how all that ties into housing, the us having a job and having the proper income for our livelihood.
Amen.
Understanding the current housing crisis and its implications. Join us as we explore the latest in the ongoing housing crisis, a complex issue affecting people across the United States. 1. Age of first-time homebuyers increases. The median age for first-time homebuyers in the U.S. has now reached 38, higher than ever. This shift is due to rising home prices, limited supply, and fierce competition, which has made homeownership a longer journey for many. In the 1980s, first-time buyers were often in their late 20s, showing just how much times have changed. 2. Housing affordability in smaller cities. A study from Oxford Economics reveals that housing affordability is increasingly out of reach nationwide. Only 36% of households can afford a home today, down from 59% just 5 years ago. However, cities like Decatur, Illinois, and Youngstown, Ohio, still offer affordable options, with homes priced under $60,000. 3. Housing policy takes center stage in the election. During the presidential election, housing affordability was a central issue. Vice President Kamala Harris proposed tax incentives for builders and down payment assistance to address the shortage, while former President Donald Trump advocates reducing housing regulations and using federal land for development. 4. Corporate investment in housing under scrutiny. Corporate investors are increasingly purchasing homes to convert them into rentals, contributing to rising prices and limited availability. Policymakers are debating measures to address this trend, though its overall impact on the housing crisis is still up for debate. These updates highlight the economic and political complexities behind the housing crisis. What do you think about these developments? Let us know in the comments. Now, back to the coffee time crew.
Man, there was a lot to take in that one. I mean, again, it's truly, truly sad that, like you say, back in the 80s, whatever, late 20s, people were buying homes. Now, most folks are in their late 30s. Man, thinking about that, you buy a house at, you're 39 years old. That means you're what, 69 by the time you pay that house off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't get a chance to really, uh,
Enjoy
had,
it.
well, I'm not gonna say enjoy it because you can enjoy your home all alone,
No,
but
but
it's
I mean,
you
like
don't get that break where where you're okay. I got this freedom. I done paid for my house. Now all I got to
exactly,
do is pay my insurance and taxes. I can live. Now I can take that money and invest it into something else. You
exactly. That's
know,
what I'm saying. Enjoying the freedom of already owning your house, having extra income, and able to do extra things because now you own your house. You know.
right? And then okay, I mean, I'm sorry. There are places in America where we can buy those homes like they're saying for, under 60,000, but guess what? Ain't no jobs over there. The chances are they don't have a whole lot of transportation, a lot of different things they don't have. That's why them homes are so cheap because there's no infrastructure there for the employment and all this other kind of stuff to draw people to those cities.
And that means for a blind person in rural areas like that, imagine trying to depend on a service like Amni or like Access, let's say for disabled people. They might not have it in that area. It's not built already, all that. They might not even have the funds. They're a town where there's not a lot of jobs, maybe it's real rural, like you know what I mean? It's out there.
Well,
So
Pedro, here in El Paso in 2024, they barely started county-wide service in August, and that meant, like you said, Mr. Davis, if I lived outside the city limits and I wanted to come into town to work or whatever, I was SOL unless I had to pay, someone to bring me in or Uber, which is of
Right.
course is cost prohibitive. But I sit on the board here in the city for the Fair Housing Task Force, and we try to educate the developers is that yeah, you make affordable housing, like you said, Mr. Davis. Make sure there's transportation nearby, a bus stop, where someone could jump on the bus and go to work or go to school. And number two, make sure the environment is safe. Now, what I mean by that, folks, is unfortunately a lot of housing. Well, here in El Paso, anywho, a lot of those housing opportunities they're in projects, and the projects, they see a blind person, and there's been times where they get assaulted, right? Because them being blind. And that's just things that, there's a lot of factors into that, paying for your rent, so there's a lot of factors into that.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just, for me, again, I'd love to be able to go out. Man, I could sell my house, move to where they talking about I get houses for 60 and buy, five or six of them. Yeah, great, right? But what's going on there? I mean, again, a lot of these places are like cities. Another one that they didn't mention is like in Detroit. You look at a lot of these places, the reason them home prices are down so low is what? Because of the industries there. Detroit, the auto industry, a lot of that got shut down. So a lot of them homes are just sitting there vacant, right? So again, you can get homes in those areas for that price, but and then again, something we didn't really get a chance to touch on, and I'll just touch on it briefly. Man, we have got to stop corporate America from buying up all the houses. They're eliminating the
Mhm.
opportunity for people to buy homes because why? They have unlimited funds. You could go and bid on a house for just as a number 110,000. They come and say, okay, well, I'll give you 111.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I believe this country shouldn't be a country of renters.
No,
That's
it
what's
should.
gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen when these big hedge funds that have unlimited funds racking up all these houses is gonna become a country of rentals, and that
What's that?
means
What's that old thing they want us to be proud of America again and all that other kind of stuff, right? Well, when you allow us to own homes, guess what? We have pride in ownership. Now we own a piece of America. We're not just renting a piece of America.
even
You know what
though
I'm saying?
they call it the American dream, owning your house, even though the American dream was a marketed scheme from the bankers, right? Owning that piece of the pie gives you a stake in living here. You might be more inclined to go vote. You'd be more inclined to keep your neighborhood up and looking good because you're a homeowner, you know. And that's the American dream. You want to grow old with your spouse and be in your backyard and enjoy the weather, be secure, knowing that you own your house now,
Exactly.
and
Just
you're
like
not.
everybody else.
And you're not paying a forever rent.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. While they sitting up there making profits off of you every month. Every month they making a profit. And they're not gonna they're gonna what if the thing with Trump about cutting regulations, what that means, they're gonna pull them things off of there. Well, now they don't have to they can raise your rent more than 2-3% a year. They're gonna raise your rent 10,
Wow.
15, 20% a year. When there's no regulation, there's no limitations on the exploitation they can do on us. So
Yes. I was looking at just quickly before we go. I was looking at a documentary about this issue and these big companies that own blocks and blocks and blocks, and I mean blocks of houses, neighborhoods and neighborhoods.
yeah,
You know what they do? Sometimes you might have a broken window. They are more to be slumlords than the smaller owners of these properties.
they don't want to pay for maintenance. All they
They
want to do
don't.
is collect your rent. If you don't like it, then you can move out and they'll put somebody else in your place and they ain't gonna complain. That's
Yeah.
the way they
So
look at it.
so
So
yeah, basically the average American dream is fading and is becoming the billionaire dream.
well, and remember this on final word: corporate America don't care about you. All they care about is their bottom line. So on that note, everybody have a great weekend. Please don't forget to come out and hang out with us tonight. Check out Bad Boys 2. And bring all your favorite snacks and all that good stuff with you at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So everybody enjoy your weekend as well. And we will see you again on Monday morning. Have a great weekend.